Hey, what's up guys, this is Cameron from Dreamlight. In this video I'm going to be covering how to light interiors. I'm going to be covering various methods and also a little bit of psychology plus some golden rules for making or breaking your interior renders. Right now you're looking at a few promotional renders for a co-op between me and Brian Lucatos from Imagine X. And I've used a lot of different techniques when lighting the set, and I'm gonna be covering them and also showcasing a few other lights that I've done throughout the years. And there is, when you kind of end this video, you're gonna have a lot of tools at your disposal. You're gonna know how to use different tools, different techniques, how to apply them, how to mix them together so that in the end it looks professional, it looks great, and also it's fun and easy to do. All right, so let's just get started. And I'm going to start off by just showing you a few, renders, and I'm going to talk about some kind of, it's kind of like a subtle thing. It's not something you usually talk about. You see people just mention, hey, place a light over there, tweak this, make this an emissive, and all that. But really what it comes to is creating balance. And balance is created when you have a good amount of brightness and darkness throughout your image that alternates and plays with the audience, okay? So what I mean with that is you have brightness, darkness. You got brightness, darkness, brightness, darkness throughout the entire image. And what you want to avoid is kind of having too much of the good stuff, all right? And there is a saying, less is more, and the same applies to lighting. You want to use only what is needed to project your vision, but you don't want to overdo things. And especially you want to avoid using all the candy at the same time. It's like a kid in a candy store, right? But you want to use different effects and let one effect be the dominant one. You don't want to have too many things happening at the same time, clashing with each other. All right. Then there's this thing that, especially when you have a lot of texture. As you can see here, Brian did a really great job in creating this model and the texture and all the tiles. And the thing is, when there is a lot of patterns, you don't want to destroy that by adding a gazillion shadows, light effects, and all that. You gotta keep it down. You gotta be a little bit subtle about it so that you uplift and bring the beauty of the textures to the front instead of just creating a kind of like a playful mix of everything that just doesn't look right, okay? And as you can see from these renders, there's a lot of ideas, a lot of different techniques you can use to create in light interiors. All right, perfect. So let's cover some tools, and I'm going to be also showcasing you these tools and how they work, how you can adjust them, all that. So one of the most common ways of lighting interiors is using, point lights. Point lights is a great way of just adding a light, especially if you have a, like an interior. Alright, so this is a dash studio render of an interior more sci-fi themed, and it's not a ready render, it's just a quick noisy draft. But as you can see, I've used a point light to create lighting right on the left corridor, and this is often backed with additional lights to just control the effect. But in fact, point lights are just awesome and a great way of illuminating indoor settings. So, and a lot of people are afraid of point lights, but don't worry, I'm going to show you how to use them. And also, obviously using spotlights. Spotlights are great. I'm not going to be covering so much about spotlights, but they are often used in conjunction with point lights to enhance the effect or get the desired effect. Okay, so in conjunction. Now, obviously you got emissive textures or surfaces, right? And this is basically self-glowing, objects or surfaces that emit light. And this can be all kinds of things. It can be neon panels or neon lights or ceiling lights or spotlights. No, doesn't really matter what kind of light you can mimic. I even use emissives to mimic, light coming from candles, right? This beautiful soft lighting, this orangish tint coming from candles. So I use that for that as well. But this is kind of a no-brainer approach, right? This is kind of what everybody tells you. Use some lights, use some emissives. But the thing is, a lot of people miss on this, and a big portion of what I'm covering is using HDR maps for interior lighting. And this obviously requires large windows, right? Big windows. So a lot of people miss that. And in conjunction with that, when we speak about HDR maps, you also have the built-in array sun sky lighting system. And this is also for exterior lights, but it works wonders if you know how to use it indoors, which obviously also requires big windows. All right. Now, you would think that we pretty much covered, a lot of things you can use for interior lighting, right? But there's one more, and it has to do with camera light or filler. That's right. Sometimes the light you add is not enough, and you gotta add something else, something more that maybe is not visible. What I mean with this is, if you have a ceiling light or a table light, and that light provides some kind of lighting, but in adjusting the light, you just kind of notice that, oh man, it's not going to project the amount of light I need, and it's gonna look like a sun, right? It's gonna be that bright. Maybe that's not the best approach then, to kind of overexpose and push that table light or whatever light you have to create that desired effect. Maybe you can just use it for, within its limitations for what it's designed to do, but then you can add additional lights, and often it's either a camera light or a filler to mimic or fake other lights, fake effects of other lights or enhance other lights. Okay, so this is kind of a thing that very, very few people know about. And from somewhere around here, we talk about real pro stuff that really, 4, 5, 6. This is really the professional stuff that very few people know about. All right, so that covers it pretty much. There is not so much more to cover. This is basically what I'm going to be covering, and I'm going to keep it very, very simple. I'm going to show you some simple examples because it's not difficult. When you know how to do this, you're going to just breeze through it and just know what to do. And the thing is, it doesn't really matter how much you know. I've been doing lighting professionally in 3D for 13 years. I've been doing it professionally in the movie industry for almost 25 years. And, it doesn't really matter. It's always going to be like, I always say this, each scene is unique. You're always going to get some, I shouldn't call them roadblocks. It's just each scene is different, and unique. And you're going to apply this, and you will have to tweak it a little bit to just get it fine-tuned for your vision. So basically, guys, that's it for this video, and in the next one we're going to just start off right inside the studio with point lights and with a little bit of help of spotlights as well. So I'll see you there.